Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of MythBusters, where I take jewelry myths and either prove them right or prove them wrong. Today I am going to be talking about the myth that you have to have your jewelry professionally cleaned by a jeweler. That is definitely a myth. There's a lot of ways that you can clean your jewelry at home, and I'm going to talk about those in this video. The main thing when you're cleaning jewelry is to know that all jewelry cannot be cleaned by the same process. So I'm going to go by jewelry type, material type, and then how you'll clean it. If you don't know the material type, do not guess it. Like if it looks gold, don't assume it's solid gold. That's where you are going to want to take that piece to a jeweler, or look for an identifying marker like a 925, which indicates sterling silver, or a 14K or 18K mark, which would indicate that it's solid gold. First, I'm going to talk about solid gold and gold fill. Both of these are cleaned in the exact same way. Since they are a lifetime material and they have a either huge amount of gold around a tiny brass core or are completely solid gold, you can actually clean these with a simple soft toothbrush and dish soap. Another way that jewelers clean it is through a process called an ultrasonic. It uses a vibration to kind of move the water in between the jewelry's links or crevices to clean it, to clean out any dirt or grime that might be inside. And we also put a solution in there, but you can use regular Dawn dish soap in an ultrasonic as well. You don't have to have a special solution. The crazy thing is they actually sell ultrasonics on Amazon for a very reasonable price, so you can absolutely get one of these at home. If you have a lot of gold filled jewelry or solid gold jewelry, it's a great investment. And all it's going to do is basically pull all that dirt out of the crevices, which is the majority of what's happening to gold. Gold, solid gold, and gold fill does not tarnish, it doesn't turn, so any discoloration you see is just regular dirt and grime. The second one I'm going to talk about is sterling silver. So sterling silver does actually tarnish. This is the product that is going to be the most tarnishing of all the materials that I talk about today. It comes in contact with water or air. It naturally either can get a green patina on it, which is kind of like a green discoloration, or sometimes it can appear kind of like a teal blue, or it turns black, which sometimes that's really nice. It's like a beautiful antique color. A lot of times that's what designers are going for when they want to create a piece of silver jewelry that looks antiqued. But if you want something that's super shiny or even appears like white gold, you can very easily clean your sterling silver with a polishing cloth. I have a bunch of them here. This one right here is actually the one I'm going to link below. I always link all the supplies down in the description. This is called the sunshine cloth. This is the best one out there. Always look for the yellow one. As you can see on this sunshine cloth, there's tons of little dirt pieces. There's even like specific lines where you can see I was rubbing it up against a ring band. You're just gonna very softly rub this little off on the jewelry, and that's gonna clean anything off. If you need to get into the crevices, you can use a little tool like a fork, or I have this little dental tool, and I'll put it over the cloth and I'll dig into those little crevices and get the dirt and grime out and get that tarnish out of those little crevices that are hard to get with your hands. These towels have little granules on them, so that's what is actually doing the polishing. When you hold them in your hands, you can feel it. It almost gives your hands like a little bit of a waxy feel. That's what's actually doing the polishing, is the little granules. When I was an apprentice, someone once told me that polishing is just scratches on top of scratches on top of scratches until your eye reads it as shiny. And so you kind of want to think about that with this concept with the polishing cloth. The little granules in this cloth are going to just scratch that surface just enough to kind of make it look shiny to the naked eye. The last piece I'm going to talk about is gold plated. In my store, we sell a ton of gold plated jewelry, and a lot of times people will refer to gold plating being tarnished, but in reality what happens with gold plating is that it actually just starts to chip off over time. Gold plating is just a layer, and the quality of gold plating and the longevity just matters based on how thick you put that gold plating on. So you really can't paint gold plating with a broad brush and say all gold plating will chip off at a certain amount of time. It really depends on the jewelry piece. Number one thing you do not want to do with gold plated jewelry is use this cloth or use anything abrasive. I wouldn't even use maybe the soft toothbrush with gold plating, because if you think about it chipping off, the more that we actually push or put pressure or use something granulated or textured or abrasive on that, the more likely that it's going to be to chip off more. And usually it's chipping off down to like a brass base or a sterling silver base, and that base, like I talked about, sterling silver is what will actually tarnish. So once the gold plating comes off, the base is then exposed to water and air and can kind of turn brown or can turn black if it's silver. For plated jewelry, you will always want to use an alcohol swab. You can get a medicated rubbing alcohol swab, and it's already going to be wet when you pull it out of the package, and you're just going to go around that jewelry piece and clean it off. Anything that's happening with gold plating, it's just going to be dirt and grime on top of that gold plating. The gold plating does start to chip off. There's nothing you can do about that except have it replated. We used to offer that service here in the store, but since we've grown, can't keep track of whose rings his anymore because we have to do plating in large batches now. If you do need to have a piece of jewelry replated, my best advice is to look for a local fine jeweler, somebody maybe like Zales or, you know, a local fine jeweler where they would carry engagement rings and things like that. Bonus points if they say on their website they do repairs. Those places will be able to do jewelry plating in small batches, like one at a time. So usually they'll be able to plate it for you for a very small fee, and then you'll get your piece back at its original condition. Again, like if the plating's coming off, that's not tarnishing, it's not something you can clean, you'll just have to have it replated. So that's how you'll be able to do your own jewelry cleaning at home. I hope this helps. Again, everything is linked below. Please let me know if you have any other questions about other jewelry types or materials, or any questions you have or myths you want me to bust. Leave them in the comments and I'll answer it in the next episode.